no consumers in America sit here complaining about those tariffs.
Well, prices
what happens is
prices have gone up for lots of reasons.
Currencies. Oh, no. Don't talk about the Biden inflation. That's another whole gig.
Okay, the picture, okay.
The narrative was,
I know
that
that you've been waiting to say this, but it is true. It is true that other countries are trying to create other blocks so that they can protect themselves from the capriciousness of this administration. So both things can be true at the same time.
You don't like this deal?
Donald Trump has done something that no other president had the cojones to do. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about Donald Trump. This affects energy too, because we got a lot of deals that we do across the country, across the world, and we got to have good trade deals. That's just the way it is. All right. And Donald Trump has done something that no other president had the cojones to do in the history of our country. Donald Trump, and one on Mother's Day. Matter of fact, happy Mother's Day to all you mamas out there that's really taking care of your kids. Not to the mamas out here trying to keep their kids away from their daddies, but the mamas who out here being real mamas. Shout out to you. Happy Mother's Day. But over the weekend, Donald Trump is out here doing more than any president has done in their entire tenure, even with 2 terms. The trade deal that he just negotiated in part with China, some of the executive orders that he signed for pharmaceutical drugs, dropping the prices by 80% and more, we'll get into it in a minute, is Donald Trump should literally get a 3rd term.
Global stock markets are soaring thanks to President Trump's latest trade truce with China, and the world's 2 largest economic superpowers have agreed to slash tariffs by 115%. That means there's still some in there, but they're much lower, and it's for a 90-day period. So Wall Street, the corner of Wall and Broad, liking the cooling off that they see. The deal cuts reciprocal tariffs, again, by 115%. And China will reduce pressure on U.S. products from 125% down to 10%. The U.S. will temporarily lower tariffs on Chinese goods from 145 to 30%. So you see, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent revealed that this breakthrough was able to happen under President Trump because China walked all over Biden.
In addition, yesterday we achieved a total reset with China after productive talks in Geneva. Both sides now agreed to reduce the tariffs imposed after April 2nd to 10% for 90 days as negotiators continue on the largest structural issues. And I want to tell you that a couple of things. First of all, that doesn't include the tariffs that are already on, that are our tariffs. And it doesn't include tariffs on cars, steel, aluminum, things such as that, or tariffs that may be imposed on pharmaceuticals, because we want to bring the pharmaceutical businesses back to the United States, and they're already starting to come back now based on tariffs.
This is probably my favorite part of talking about Donald Trump's tariff victory, in my personal opinion, is how is the media going to talk about this, right? We already know. I mean, we know as conservatives that Donald Trump did a positive thing for the American people, but I guarantee you the left is going to have something negative to say. And that guarantee came true. All you got to do is check it out right here. Trump caved to on his Chinese tariffs. But it's too little too late. Caving on the tariffs, do you think that makes sense? I knew the left, he can cure cancer, and the left, I have a problem with it. So that's what the left is saying. And then you look on the right, and we're just telling the truth. They come to an agreement. Okay? The U.S.-Chinese reached a deal for 90 days. It's just facts. And so when anybody tells you that the left and the right are co-equally giving their perspective in a biased way, it's not true. I feel like conservatives are getting the truth and the left is giving their biased take because they got to hate everything Trump is doing. And it's the reason why I love Ground Out News, because you can find it all right here. Everything you need to know, the biases or lack thereof, you'll find it. And also, don't forget, I tell you guys every time I talk about Ground Out News, is make sure you're aware of the blind spots, okay? When it's in red here, that means that Republicans are not reporting on it. When it's in blue here, that means that the left is not reporting on it, right? Why would somebody want to report on Eric Trump? But we have to. We have to know what's going on. Eric Trump's Bitcoin mining venture to go public. That's something that's interesting, right? He's one of Trump's son. this is a financial gain probably for him. We need to at least know it exists. All right. So make sure you hit the blind spot so you can be informed on topics, no matter if you're a Democrat or Republican. So make sure you guys subscribe through my link at ground.news/Tatum or download the mobile app and use offer code Tatum for 40% off the unlimited Vantage plan to see through media bias and stay informed. I'm gonna play the news clip so you can hear the news reporting on it, and then we're gonna talk about it. I got all my notes here. Let's get into this. Roll the clip.
Fox News alert overnight. The Trump administration securing another win, announcing a major tariff deal with China. Trade will be one of the major issues on the agenda when the president makes his high-stakes trip, and the first one to the Middle East. He's going overseas today. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt joins us now. Caroline, we're just mentioning there's probably 7 major stories. I know I'm going to disappoint somebody by not bringing it up. First off, your reaction, and what could you tell us about the China deal that has tariffs dropping from 145, 125 respectively to 30 and 10?
This is an extraordinary first step in the right direction. And thanks to the strength of President Trump, Secretary Bessent and Ambassador Greer were able to cut this initial deal with China. China agreed to reduce their tariffs on the United States by 115%. They also agreed to continue having discussions about opening Chinese markets to American-made products and goods. And they also agreed to continue seriously discussing the grave impact that Chinese-produced fentanyl is having right here in the United States and our people. So this is a great first step for the American public, and Secretary Bessent, Ambassador Greer, and of course President Trump will continue negotiations with China so we can hopefully inevitably get to a fair and comprehensive big trade deal.
Hold on. I don't think people are paying attention to this enough. Caroline Leavitt said it better than anybody can say it on planet Earth. But remember all these people? They were talking so much trash about Donald Trump. And I told you guys, y'all got record of me saying this. On my show, I told you, be patient. Donald Trump knows what he's talking about. Like, I really do think he's going to resolve this. He's a businessman. He understands how to, we have control. We have leverage. I'm not saying we have all the control, but we do have leverage. I don't know how the American people don't understand this. Like, they need us too. If we increase tariffs on them, that's less productivity or less products being bought in America. They're going to suffer. They have billions of people to take care of. We have 300 million. They can't. We're like majority of their economy outsourced. They need us. They need us purchasing. And I knew when Donald Trump did it in good faith, because I'm not God. I know the future. But in good faith, I said, you know what? I think he knows what he's doing. I think we have a lot of leverage here.
Scott Bessent today under oath said we're currently negotiating with 16 of the 17 most important countries. And he'll be meeting with the Chinese this weekend when they all converge in Switzerland. I think dealing with, with all due respect to all these other countries making deals, they're small and relatively unimportant. We're the big player in the field and everybody knows it. And people would rather do business with us than do business with China because of what Jim just said. They have all these strategies to inflict pain upon you if you don't bend to their will or allow them to break the rules. And so I think when you're dealing with the United States, it's going to take a little bit of time to work out the best deal for us and the best deal for them. But I have a lot of confidence that when push comes to shove and people get right down to it, an alliance, a trading partnership, business dealings with the United States is a heck of a lot better than being reliant on the Chinese because they have seen what they have done to us and everybody else in the world. The decoupling and the isolation of China is a real thing, and, it may be a little painful, but it's necessary. Most significant country.
No,
we are the
Scott,
world's
stop with the
superpower.
jingoism.
We are the world's superpower.
Stop with the jingoism.
Dealing with us is the most important thing.
Stop. Do you think that China can do just as well with the EU? Do you think that China can do just as well with India?
If I were the EU, I would not want to be reliant. And look what's happened to us. They don't want it.
It's not a question of reliance. It's a question on the fact that everybody is cutting deals with each other. We're not cutting deals with anybody.
We have one thing in the news.
No.
You guys keep saying
they're having discussions with each other.
We're in the middle of talking to 16 countries, according to the Treasury Secretary.
According to the Treasury Secretary, we've been hearing from them for over a month that we're on the cusp. Any day now, any day.
Lying?
No, I'm saying that I've been
He's
hearing.
under oath today.
I'm saying that every deal that we heard about is coming any day now, any day now.
How quickly would you be able to cut a trade deal?
Let me ask you that question. I wouldn't get into this mess in the first place.
I think that's a very good.
You wouldn't try to improve our trading relationship?
I would not get into this mess.
Good to know.
No, Scott, let me tell you something. Kentucky, my friend, you guys import more than any other state in the nation. You want to represent that state in the Senate? You go tell the people of Kentucky why they have to sit there and listen to this nonsense. Their bourbon's about to be tariffed to hell. You guys are about to have no trade with Canada. You're about to lose millions upon tens of millions of dollars just in Ontario province alone with all the stuff that you're not importing there. So why don't you go tell the people of Kentucky?
we have a lot more ahead
I know a little
on
more
the
about
Canada
Kentucky
piece of
politics than
this.
you do.
Yeah.
I can tell you, they trust the president.
Oh, okay.
They voted for the president, and they're going to let him make the
can't
best
wait.
deals
You
for
tell
them.
He's doing this to get to the drawing board, to get to the negotiating table. He's not doing this to hurt the American people and try to do a peeing contest with the Chinese president. He's doing this to gain leverage so that we can have a better outcome when it comes to trade deals with foreign governments. Finish the clip.
Do you know yet, Caroline, if they're going to unfreeze the rare earth and the magnets that we use for our technical equipment as well as our military equipment?
I do understand that was part of the discussion, but I also know that the administration is working overtime 24/7 with a dedicated team to onshore that very critical supply chain here at home. We need to be producing those magnets, those rare earth minerals, and also look at pharmaceuticals, look at semiconductors. There are critical supply chains that we have been dependent on other countries for far too long. So while we continue to negotiate these good and fair trade deals, we will also continue to boost our domestic manufacturing here at home to strengthen our national security.
All right, so we got the UK deal, the framework for a China deal. Is there another deal queued up, ready to go today before you leave?
Well, look, we told you the next 100 days would consist of peace deals and trade deals, and that's exactly what we have seen. The president announced last week the big trade deal with the UK, as you mentioned. Now we have a first deal with China. Just yesterday, the president announced the release of the last remaining American hostage in Gaza, Eden Alexander, who will soon be united with his loving family. God bless him. That's thanks to President Trump. We also negotiated a ceasefire with the Houthis, and President Trump was instrumental in negotiating a ceasefire with India and Pakistan. This is all in the last week. President Trump and his team are working incredibly hard on behalf of the country and the world to secure peace deals and trade deals. And don't forget, we have a tax deal coming too. The administration is working with Capitol Hill to sign the largest tax cuts in American history right now.
So
Come on, stop it. Y'all got to get Trump 2028. I don't think he can run a third time, but his legacy. Every election should be Trump 20 whatever, Trump 2030 something, because his legacy will continue forever. I think people aren't digesting. I know you guys are because you're smart, but I don't think the American people are digesting what is happening here. She's just not talking out the side of her neck. A deal with the UK, first phase deal with China, releasing of the hostage in Gaza. Like, these are things that any other presidents could not and would not do. Brokering a ceasefire deal with the Houthis. She said Houthis. It's Houthis. Peace deal, mediation between India and Pakistan. And then also, they may talk about this in a minute, maybe. This thing that he did that my wife brought to my attention last night. She came and she said, oh, you see what Donald Trump do? He whooping on Mother's Day. Trump signed a landmark executive order to cut pharmaceutical prices by up to 80%. Listen, this is the key part. Ensuring that the U.S. pay no more than the lowest global rate. Do you know how significant that is? Cutting pharmaceutical prices by 80%. That's almost 100%. 80%. That means that in the future, a deal has been struck where we get the lowest price. So that means in India, when they selling, hypothetically, let's just say it's insulin. In India, if they're selling insulin for $2 a vial, that means that the American people get the lowest price. That means we're getting it for $2. They don't get it for $2 and we pay $150 for it, like we've been doing. It's about negotiating on behalf of America. This is what Trump is all about, and this is why we love Trump. And I wish that you did go tell your auntie them and your cousin them and your boyfriend, baby daddy, cousin, grandma, friend from down the street back when they were kids. Go tell them with their Trump hating self to go and look at what Trump has accomplished. Just give them these accomplishments and then say, what do you think about that? Is that a bad thing or not? Caroline, take it away.
Just going off the Truth Social post, it says, it's a long one, but he says, I'm pleased to announce that today, the White House at 9 o'clock will be signing one of the most consequential executive orders ever. They will be reducing pharmaceuticals by about 80%. Essentially, we are going to pay less than the country that's paying the least for pharmaceuticals from here on in? How does that work?
First of all, it cannot be overstated how big of a deal this executive order that President Trump will be signing in a couple of hours is for American families, and especially our seniors who have been ripped off by very large and rich pharmaceutical companies. The United States of America is less than 5% of the world's population, yet we purchase 75% of Big Pharma's profits. We pay an astronomical amount in comparison to other countries around the world. So the president is signing an executive order today that is going to implement most favored nations drug pricing and is going to reduce the cost of drugs in this country by more than half at least. America is going to pay a better rate and a fairer rate to the rest of the world. That's what the American people deserve. This is huge news. And also, I will add, we know that healthcare costs and drug prices were the #1 driver of Biden inflation. So not only are we bringing those down, but we are ending Biden inflation once and for all.
Can you clarify that Qatar is giving us a new Air Force One as a personal gift to President Trump? Are they gifting it to the country? What could you tell us about this luxury liner that looks like a hotel in the air?
Well, the Qatari government has graciously offered to donate a plane to the Department of Defense. The legal details of that are still being worked out, but of course, any donation to this government is always done in full compliance with the law, and we commit ourselves to the utmost transparency.
Thank you, Caroline. Thank you, Caroline. Best press secretary to ever live. Nothing against Kayleigh McEnany. I love Kayleigh McEnany. I love her. And her sister. Her sister's my favorite. But like, what can we stop winning? I don't want to stop winning. Do you want to stop winning? I don't think we can stop winning. This is like a championship team. Donald Trump does things that bother me sometimes. He be doing things that I'm like, but it seems like at the end of the day, it always works out. At the end of the day, even if he say something crazy, you're like, Trump really wrote that on True Social. Come to find out, it was true. It sounded crazy when he said it, but it was right. This is one thing that it gives me a lot of excitement, because I honestly feel like Donald Trump is the greatest president of my lifetime. I think he always has been, even with his flaws, even the fact that, he got, I don't agree with everybody he picks, Pam Bondi included. I don't want to get in trouble with Trump, man, to be honest, but Pam Bondi is sketchy. They got a video of her doing something that I think she should lose her job over. And I'm going to play that video here in a minute. I almost forgot to talk about it. It's the one with Project Veritas.
Yesterday, Attorney General of the United States Pam Bondi was at the White House and disclosed what she represented as brand new information in relation to Jeffrey Epstein, the existence of tens of thousands of videos featuring little children.
There are tens of thousands of videos of Epstein with.
Now, this is the first time an official has publicly acknowledged that videos of Epstein and his victims exist. What you may not know is just 9 days prior, the Attorney General had a very similar conversation with a total stranger in a restaurant.
Do you know when the Epstein files are going to get released?
We hope soon. The FBI's been.
Okay.
So.
Any dates?
No, you know what it is? There are tens and thousands videos.
Yeah.
And it's all with little kids, so they have to go through every one.
In the past, officials have spoken about the, quote, mountain of evidence in the Epstein case, but they've never, previous to that moment, acknowledged on the existence of videos of, quote, little kids. Just a few days later, at 2 p.m. on May 1st, our reporter sent the AG's office the text of the recording. We asked why this detail had not been disclosed to the public, but was instead being told to a random stranger at a restaurant. The Attorney General used almost the exact same language as she did with the stranger in the restaurant, language that we shared with her press office.
There are tens and thousands of videos.
Yeah.
And it's all with little kids. There are tens of thousands of videos of Epstein with children or child porn.
Now, we hesitated to publish this story, but believe, like we did yesterday, that the public has a right to know. And this one raises serious questions. On one hand, why did our country's highest law enforcement official share this information first not with the American people, but with a self-described nanny at brunch? But more importantly, why was this information held back in the first place? Does this show that a government apparatus is still working behind the scenes to protect powerful people involved in the scandal? Based upon the response to our Epstein story yesterday, it's clear that the American people want answers, and they want accountability.
Where Project Veritas had Pam Bondi on camera, behind the scenes, telling a nanny information that should only be privy to the American people. She has to lose her job over this. It's on camera, okay? But let me not get in trouble with Trump. Trump, I love you still. I got to call it how I see it. Just like you call it how you see it. I'll call it how I see it. But anyway, I may not agree with everybody he picks. Sometimes I think some of these people are off, or some of these people are deceiving him to a certain degree. But Donald Trump is the GOAT. Let's just keep that transparent. I think he knows what he's doing. He's run a successful business, and if you run this country like a business, it's not $1 billion business, it's $1 trillion business. You can really make some differences for the American people. Now, the next thing that we need to do is figure out, and I'm the biggest proponent, and I love Israel, and I love the Israeli people. I love the Jews. So this is not a knock against them. But I do think, after doing research, that we spend a lot of money. We send a lot of money to Israel. $3.8 billion. They are our number one export of our resources when it comes to financial, military contracts and stuff of that nature. I do think we need to look into it and make sure that it's fair. That's all I'm saying. I think we should support Israel. I think Israel deserves to be a state, but we do need to evaluate, is every dollar that we give in Israel the best way to spend our money? And if it is, keep doing it. And if it ain't, we need to scale back a little bit, because I don't want to ever be the person that's biased towards a country, because I think they deserve to be a state, and I love the Israeli people and I love the Jewish people. But we do need to make sure that we're holding an account to our spending in every aspect of what we do, no matter if it's Israel or not.